a Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to talk about this matchup in the trenches between center Jake Brendel and potential guy that could come in and take his spot, Jon Feliciano, who the 49ers brought in free agency, both believing that it's going to be a depth piece for Feliciano. But he's got some ability there. He started 15 games last year for the New York Football Giants. And so he's got the ability to come in and play center for the 49ers. There's a little bit of a difference between what Feliciano provides and what Jake Brendel provides. But Brendel has had 1 year as a starter for the 49ers. Now, of course, his relationship with line coach Chris Foerster definitely gives Jake Brendel an advantage. And we've already heard Foerster come out and say that Jake Brendel is the presumed starter. He said the same thing about Aaron Banks, about Spencer Burford. But Jon Feliciano said in an interview with Brad Graham of the SF Niners that he came to the 49ers to start, not to be a backup. So the 49ers definitely gave him the impression that if he went out there and competed at a high level, he could earn himself a starting job. I think with a young player like Spencer Burford, the 49ers could definitely go back to the rotation like they had last year with Daniel Brunskill and rotate Feliciano and Spencer Burford while Burford continues to get his feet underneath him. Or they could elect to just let Burford get all those snaps and take another step forward from year one. That's what I think is going to happen, which means Feliciano is either relegated to a backup interior offensive line role or he starts competing in camp with Jake Brendel. We saw last year the 49ers gave Daniel Brunskill a hefty amount of snaps once he came back from injury. That means there's an opportunity for Feliciano. We know the 49ers have other guys like Keith Ishmael, and they have Nick Zakelj that they can put at center, and those guys will probably get some reps in camp as well. But I think that's one thing to start watching. If we start seeing Jon Feliciano taking a significant amount of center snaps and not just right guard, it may be something to watch because there are major strengths with Jake Brendel. Jake Brendel's athletic ability is way beyond Jon Feliciano's. He can definitely get to the second level. He's a lot faster. He's smoother getting to the next level. He just looks good doing it. The problem is Feliciano is better once he gets there. Feliciano's better at maintaining blocks. Feliciano's better at getting push at the line of scrimmage. Feliciano's better at anchoring against pass rush. So it all depends on how much Jake Brendel has improved from year one as a starter to year two. I fully expect him to improve because just getting those reps and being in those situations are going to make him a better player. Something with playing line and making those line calls and learning on film that's going to take you to another level. I think Jake Brendel will be at another level when he gets out to training camp. But Feliciano just played another tough season in the NFC East, and he played 15 games and started those games. So these guys are on equal footing as far as the amount of snaps each player took last year. Brendel just over 1,000, and Feliciano just over 900. So not a lot of separation between the two. The separations are mainly in technique and physical attributes. So it's going to depend what the 49ers want at the position. Now, Brendel also has another advantage that he's played in Kyle Shanahan's system for 2 years and won manning this offensive line. I'm sure if Chris Foerster had his way, Jake Brendel would outplay Jon Feliciano and stay at the center position, because then you keep the chemistry that he has with Aaron Banks and Spencer Burford, which is absolutely paramount to the success of the offensive line. If he could keep four of the starters the same and be working in Colt McKivitz, who's been with the Niners since 2020, you got to think that they're going to have a lot of symmetry amongst that offensive line. But you can't ignore the ability that Jon Feliciano has. You just go watch film of him and you see, hey, this guy could definitely push for a starting job. I think the fact that it's a meritocracy is going to give him an opportunity to come in and compete. Where that's going to be is a big question, but the 49ers would definitely rather have Aaron Banks and Spencer Burford playing the two guard spots. Two young players who are primarily cheap, who also have a lot of upside. Getting more reps and playing more is only going to make those two players better. I don't think either one of them has reached their ceiling on what they could be in the NFL or for the 49ers. I've went on record saying, hey, I think Spencer Burford's going to have a huge year in 2023. He might even start being considered a Pro Bowl type candidate. And if it's not 2023, it will be 2024. The transition he made from tackle to guard was really fantastic, pretty seamless. And the 49ers using Brunskill as a rotational piece definitely helped Burford not hit a rookie wall. So Feliciano may just be here for that. But I think there's a lot more to this, and the 49ers are going to let Feliciano go in there and compete. How quickly can Feliciano pick up the 49ers offense? How quick can he pick up their checks, their protections? All of that's going to be important. Of course, he has to learn it to play guard as well, but when you're playing center, you're in charge of making those calls. We've seen Jake Brendel have a couple of struggles with that last year, but that's no slight on Brendel. It also happened to Alex Mack the year before. Playing center for the 49ers, especially Kyle Shanahan, is very difficult. The amount of different style of run games that you're going to run, the different protections, the movement in the pocket, the motions, the timing, the snap counts, it's all difficult. And he's also going to have to work at getting chemistry with just getting the snap to whoever the quarterback is, because that's going to be an issue for 49ers centers this year. You're going to be rotating through a few different guys, which is not different for training camp. But the amount of reps that are going to be split for number one reps is going to be different. Normally, you would see a guy consistently get more number two reps or more number one reps, where it should be more even. And when will Brock Purdy come back and be entered into the fold? It's going to be an interesting dynamic for the centers to have to deal with, all the while building chemistry with the players around them. Now, the 49ers don't have a lot of changeover. A couple of guys added to this offensive line that weren't there last year. McKivitz was there last year, but he didn't start. But then you added Jon Feliciano and Matt Pryor. Those guys are going to have to work into the offense. And then, of course, they've got some young guys like Joey Fisher who we're going to see what they can become. But the reason I believe this is an actual something to watch during training camp and a position battle is Feliciano's ability that he showed in 2022 as the New York Football Giants center. He was definitely on par and playing at a high level, which means I believe he could come in and compete with the Jake Brendel, especially if this is an open competition between the two. I do believe Chris Foerster is going to prefer Jake Brendel. He's going to give him the opportunity to produce. The 49ers just brought him in on another 4-year deal, and they've paid him like a number one center that they were looking to keep and hold on to. So I think he has an advantage. His chemistry with Banks, Burford, Trent Williams definitely give him an advantage over Feliciano. So Feliciano is going to have to do a lot of work. But Jake Brendel's one slip up away from Feliciano being in there and proving what he can do. Brendel at 303 pounds is a little light. That helps him with his speed. Feliciano's over 320 pounds, and he moves pretty good himself. He doesn't move like Brendel, but he shows more power to displace defensive players. So I'm really excited about this potential battle. I want to see exactly how the snaps work out, how much Feliciano gets work at center, or if it's just guard. If it's just guard, this thing goes away really fast. I don't expect that to be the case, though, because the 49ers have talked about having Feliciano be able to play all three interior offensive line positions. The other player that can do that, Nick Zakelj. Another player that can do that, Jake Brendel. So whoever wins the competition between Brendel and Feliciano gets to start. The one who loses gets to be an interior player who can rotate between the three spots. It's a interesting dynamic for the 49ers. Do I think Feliciano beats out Brendel? No. I think Brendel's just got enough heads up, enough comfortableness with this 49ers offense, and a good relationship with Chris Foerster, Aaron Banks, and Spencer Burford that help keep him at the helm of center. But I think if he has an injury or if something happens to where he misses any time, Feliciano might get that spot and never give it back. He's that good. He's that rugged at the point of attack. And I would love to see him getting some people moving and also getting him moving on some pulls that he can go ahead and light up some guys on the edge. It's going to be a fun training camp to watch these guys go at it. I'm excited about all the competitions that are going to be happening at training camp, and I'm going to be bringing more of those training camp battles to you. Of course, getting into more depth charts as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the notification bell so that way you can get notified anytime a new video comes out. And if you haven't subscribed and you want to subscribe, I appreciate it. Helps me get closer to 4K. Doesn't cost you anything, but I really appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, stay safe and remember the right way is always the 49ers way.